Drop mic. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright. Yep.
Yeah. I got something.
That's amazing.
I
did not even. I love that.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to A2G Radio for another edition of Lazy Booking Podcast TV. Don't adjust your dials. It is I, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. It is Ritz at the helm tonight, filling in for Chrome, who is currently sitting on a plane, sitting in a terminal waiting to get on a plane. Joining me as he does he doesn't join me, as he joins Chrome each and every Tuesday night. It's the incomparable Mr. Eric Archer.
The incomparable.
Yeah,
I would say best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Practice. No, good to have you, buddy.
What the hell?
Glad to see you.
Yeah, man.
It's been a bit.
It has
a lot to talk about. This is fun. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Glad you're here, and
straight up,
should be fun.
I was telling Arch before we jumped on, I was like, man, I really hope I remember how to do this, because I don't know if I've been in the driver's seat for a hot minute.
Well, I mean, it's good to have you back, and of course, we want to show love to our sponsor before we get into anything, is we got SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com for all your needs.
Make sure you see Dr. Paul Lidell and his team, Specialized Physical Therapy. They have 2 locations, Cherry Hill, Burlington, New Jersey. He's our doc. Make him yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy. We appreciate him for sponsoring this podcast.
Thank you.
The road to WrestleMania is alive and well. We are heading down we have a nonstop trip straight to Vegas. And there's one thing, at least after last night's Monday Night Raw in the TD Garden in Boston, that's on at least my mind. It all surrounds Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. Our topic of conversation tonight, Roman Reigns' beatdown of CM Punk on Raw at the direction of Jey Uso. Hinted at a power shift in the Bloodline post-WrestleMania. Agree, disagree, but let's set the stage. Let's pull it in this very ring and set the stage here for a second. If you go back and you watch the main segment of Monday Night Raw last night, the Usos come down, they confront CM Punk, there's banter back and forth, and eventually throw those ones to the sky and the OTC shows up. He gets in the ring, and again, after a little banter, just decimates Punk. And as the Usos are getting pulled out of the ring, you hear Jey, and WWE makes a point to reshare the clip and says, Jey called for it, Roman delivered. And Jey goes, Joe. He doesn't call him Roman, he says, Joe. Get him, end him, smash them all, get him, is what he says. And Roman turns around, and that's where he hits the spear and all the things, right? That just leveling CM Punk. So when we were putting this together, and I was kind of bouncing some ideas off of Chrome and Arch, this sat with me. Out of everything last night, Jey Uso directing the OTC and what to do sat with me. So Arch, I ask you, are we looking at a new Bloodline post-WrestleMania with Jey Uso in the driver's seat?
So first, before we get started, we want you all to chime in. Let's see those comments. Let us know what you think. Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're at, please join in on the conversation because we want to hear from you as well. Now, I know how passionate you feel about this, and I think you're going in one direction. And I'm going to go in a complete different direction. I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree at the intention of this whole storyline. We kind of saw it throughout Raw. If you remember during their tag team match with Division last night, Jey Uso kind of snapped a little bit and just knocked out Logan Paul, just cold cocked him, knocked him out. And he got in LA Knight's face about Roman. So I think they want you to really get into this notion of Jey Uso taking over, or kind of having his authority and using his influence to get into a situation.
Mhm.
I think what they want to do is lead you to believe that post WrestleMania it's going to look a little different. I do agree with that. I just find it really hard to believe that we're going to go back to the Bloodline. I just don't know if having Roman not be the head of the Bloodline works. I think we've seen with Jey Uso, we've tried to push him, and it's not really worked. We had him as world champion last year, and it really kind of fell flat in sort of a way. And I think he's been kind of stuck in this situation where we don't have a lot for him, so we're just going to put him back with the Usos. And now we're seeing the road to WrestleMania where Punk and Roman have really had a duel of verbal backlash at each other, talking about I'm going to bury you next to my dead father, your dead father, and talking about Punk being old. And I think they needed a little something to spice things up because, I mean, let's just face it. It's been several weeks and we're still a few weeks away from WrestleMania. So we had to really put somebody in there to sprinkle it up. And I like what they've done with installing the Usos in this story. It makes sense. But I don't know if we're going down that road where Jey is going to be the tribal chief moving forward. I think that's where they're kind of alluding this. And one thing that I would add as well that we didn't talk about yet is when Punk got powerbombed, you notice he was laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is going to play a part in where I think he's starting to see the seeds of dissension, possibly where Jey maybe feels like he's ready and maybe his intention is to dethrone Roman Reigns. But I just don't know if that's going to be a Bloodline-esque story moving forward. I guess it would be, being in the family and all, but I just have a tough time feeling like they're going to go back to that Bloodline story. If that makes sense.
I hear you, right? And I think if last night doesn't happen the way that it ends, and if WWE didn't put so much focus on it, I would probably be sitting in the same camp as you right now. However, it was there. It was very prevalent. They made sure to, I mean, they did a reel or a TikTok where it had the words on it, what he was saying and everything. So there was emphasis there about it. And I think that for Jey Uso, the world title didn't work for him because he would go out there and he would yeet all over the crowd and he would get in the ring just blown up. And his matches really lacked at that point. And we saw that with Unreal. They talked about that a lot with Unreal and Triple H bringing it up. And so now when you're looking at what they're doing this time, anything involving these Samoans is going to be Bloodline story, right? We saw it fail with Solo Sikoa because Solo Sikoa was not ready. Solo and the MFTs, whatever they're doing now, they're kind of an afterthought over there on SmackDown. Whereas with Jey and subsequently Jimmy as well, it's almost like when it was Roman and Jey for a long time, because Jimmy came out and was like, no, leave him for the OTC. The OTC then becomes, and Roman then becomes this sort of enforcer type character because he's not going to be around all the time. He's not going to be around every week. He's not going to work from now until SummerSlam every single week like we're going to see Jey and Jimmy do that. So if you put Jey in this position, because it's no different than the damn Horseman. Okay, it's just another iteration. I look at the Bloodline as this generation's Horseman. And dare I say this generation's NWO, just because of how dominant they were and how many of them there are. because they could literally go to any state in this country and probably pluck out 3 cousins, right? And that in of itself allows you to create this army of sorts. And while Roman would be this almost mythical creature to them, he's the OTC, he's the original tribal chief. He becomes this thing of legend within the Samoan dynasty. Right now, you have all these new players, and now you have somebody like a Jey Uso who needs his brother to bounce off of to be relevant, because by himself he's just very one-dimensional. I think having those family ties and that familial bond and building him as a heel, right, worked really, really well with when you did it when Roman was a heel. Right, so having Roman come in, even though the place went nuts, having Roman come in and still be the one to level the hero, it says a lot. So, do I think that there's a power shift coming? I think there has to be. Roman is not going to work every week. I'm surprised Roman was working every week now. We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, 3-4 weeks away from WrestleMania. So we do plan to see him a little bit more often. But in the same sentence, it's like, all right, how much more are you going to do? Because Roman's not going to get beat down ahead of WrestleMania. Right? Punk's not going to get that upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, I said this last week. I thought Roman was probably not going to be on this show. I thought maybe next week at Madison Square Garden. And lo and behold, there he is. I will say this. I think Punk will get an upper hand in some capacity. May not be physical, but it could be something where he says something where
if we're going to talk verbal, he got the upper hand. He already got that. I'm going to bury you next to your dad. I'm sorry. Nobody wins after that. That was a knockout punch.
I'll say this, though. The one wild card that we have to consider with WrestleMania, with this match, is Paul Heyman. And I say that because if you look where Paul Heyman right now is just getting the daylights beat out of him, and shout out to him for taking those shots and acting very well and looking all disheveled. And you can just tell mentally he's had enough. He's like, you know what? I've had enough here. Take me out of my misery. I think he has buyer's remorse where he left the tribal chief and now he's struggling to find his way, especially the way that the vision has gone. And I could see, because there are a lot of pieces that actually all the pieces have had ties to Paul Heyman. And what better way to kind of bring it back together with the wise man himself? I'm not saying it's foregone conclusion it's going to happen. I just find it hard to believe that Paul Heyman comes out of WrestleMania the way that he is right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if the wild card would be that Paul Heyman tries to get something back together in the form of a bloodline.
Nah, respectfully, I think you're way off base.
Okay.
And I say that only because with what they're doing right now with Paul and Seth, right, it really has no basis around the bloodline. It has everything to do with the vision. And so you're going to see Seth Rollins versus the vision in some capacity, in some iteration at WrestleMania. Now, is it Seth Rollins and somebody else versus the Vision in a tag team match of some kind? Maybe, right?
I think it's Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker's back next week.
I could see that.
But I think at the same time, that would mean that Braun would have to go over on Seth for Paul to come out strong. I think Paul needs to come out strong in one way, shape, or form.
Well, and I think if Braun's back next week, right? If he's miraculous, I thought he was going to miss WrestleMania.
So it looked like that, and Chrome and I had talked about that a few weeks ago, where the road for Seth Rollins didn't look clear. I mean, it looked like Logan Paul for a little while, and I just found it very hard to believe that Logan Paul would have been a logical part of that story, because Logan Paul was not a part of the vision when Seth got attacked. And then,
Correct.
of course, what happened with Bronson Reed getting injured, I think that was the fallback plan. And then, unfortunately, Bronson got hurt. But I think now it must have been clear where there was a chance that we'd see Braun Breaker back. And that hernia, I mean, you don't know how long you're going to be out. I mean, he's been out since Royal Rumble. I mean, they were talking about 6 to 8 months for him. And it must be a miraculous recovery where there's a chance that this could happen.
I just pulled this up. And so let's note something. Braun Breaker in February was taken off television due to suffering a hernia. Okay. When you talk about hernia recovery, many patients are managed through day surgery centers and are able to return to work within a week or two through intensive activity, though intensive activities are prohibited for a longer period. People who have their hernias repaired with mesh often recover within a month, but pain can last longer. Surgical complications may include pain that lasts more than 3 months, surgical site infections, nerve and blood vessel injuries, yada, 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 pain, yada, 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 yada. All right. So if he went in and had it mesh repaired, right, repaired with mesh, he could theoretically be back. Mm-hmm. So we'd have to go back and date when he was pulled off TV, right? But because it just says February here, and the Rumble was the 31st.
So if you remember, the Monday after the Rumble, he came out and started the show and flipped out because of what happened with his exit from the Rumble match, and then he was done.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. So theoretically, yeah, it could absolutely be him back next week. And right. I think if you do Rollins versus Breaker, which we all thought we were going to get anyway, I think some of us, I know I've said it once before, I thought it would have been for the title.
Probably.
Right. I think if you go back and when Seth had the belt and all that, I think that was very, very possible that it would have been for the title.
It's funny where we're at. You figure it would be Seth that would be the question mark here in these two, and it's now the tides have turned, and now it's Braun being the question mark, because I mean Seth got taken out, what did he injure? I forget. I got a brain fart. Sorry.
It was something in the shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah, shoulder. Yeah. So then he comes back. Braun's fine. Then Braun gets injured. So it's been snake bitten. But I mean, if we miraculously get this match, it's a miracle it happens, because I mean it's looked like it hasn't happened from both sides.
The vision has been plagued from, and it's funny. Ever since they did the fake injury angle.
Yeah.
They have just been plagued with karma.
Yeah.
After karma after karma.
That's why I feel possibly that maybe Heyman is just going to cut his losses in story and be like, you know what? I made a mistake. I need to align myself back with either the Bloodline or with Punk. I just think one way or another, Andy, this WrestleMania Night 2 main event, something's going to come out of it. To your point and to this topic, there's something coming out of this that's going to take us through WrestleMania and into the spring. There's going to be some story that comes out of it one way or another.
They're better. Number one, there better be.
Yeah.
Right. As much as we talk about how WrestleMania is the end all be all, it is where storylines come to an end. We always see some storylines start to build as well. And I think that here in Vegas, year 2, you don't go back to the well of what you did last year and have Paul Heyman, who has burned both bridges, right, with Punk and Roman. You don't have him anywhere near this. But what I think ends up happening, and to tie it back into our poll question, I think you see The Rock. In some capacity with Jey Uso. Almost like this passing of the torch. And I'll go a step further, and I'll really screw up what I said earlier. I'll contradict myself a little bit. but I could see The Rock essentially giving his blessing to Jey and Jey costing Roman the match. Because you got Roman who's over like Rover. It solidifies Jey as his mega heel because he lays out both men. And instead of night 2 of WrestleMania ending with a clear winner one way or the other, you have Jey Uso standing over both bodies holding the title as the screen fades to black. And then we could lead into Monday night with a what the hell just happened. And here's Jey Uso as a dominant force. Right? Because it's not just Jey Uso, it's Jey, it's Jimmy, maybe Zilla. You maybe have a couple people with him and they lay out the main event. And you do something that you've never done before. It's a risk. It's a huge risk to do that at WrestleMania, but the payoff could be incredible. And especially if you utilize the fact that The Rock is the final boss. Roman has not been acting within the best wishes of the Samoan dynasty, of the bloodline, right? And there's a way to play that around where you come out of this with something. I think putting Paul Heyman anywhere near Punk or the bloodline, you're just going backwards.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, if this vision thing doesn't really work out, I think we see Paul come off of TV for a little bit.
That's possible. One thing
only
about
other place I could see Paul Heyman going is Obafemi.
Okay. One thing on The Rock, okay?
Sure.
I've lost 100% faith in The Rock after what happened last year. But it's wild and it's logical that not only could he play a part in this main event, he could also play a part in night 1's main event because we have the story of Randy Orton and who he's talking to on the phone. And it's very logical that The Rock could play a part in that story as well, where he could be the one who is talking to Randy. Because remember, Cody said no to taking his soul. Maybe Randy has sold his soul to The Rock. It's not saying that either of those things are going to happen, because like I said, my first statement was I've lost all faith in Dwayne The Rock Johnson being involved in anything after what happened last year. And I don't know what is going on, but maybe they're like, hey, we need some help. So right now, WrestleMania ticket sales are way down.
And we'll get to that. But
and we're gonna. I'm just saying, like, that could play a part in, hey, we need to call Dwayne.
No, I don't think Dwayne puts enough butts in the seats like that. And I think if you include Dwayne in the Randy thing, you're taking away from Randy Cody. There's so, when we've talked about Randy and Cody before, there's so much history there from a lineage perspective, and not just the Ortons versus the Rhodes. It's Randy and Cody were a part of Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And how Randy really took him under his wing and brought him up in the world of professional wrestling. I think the phone call, it gives them an out in case something happens. I think they built a back door for them to get out of.
A back door to who or what, though?
Who cares? Who cares what's on the other side of the phone right now? I would say.
Okay, so you're saying it would go into past WrestleMania, possibly. Like, hey, like,
yeah. It was a in case of emergency break glass type segment, right?
Okay.
We'll use this and we'll loop back to it in the event that we need to.
So I'm overthinking.
I don't know if I'd say you're overthinking it. I think you're just stretching it too far.
Okay.
Right? Because Randy ain't young.
No, of course not.
Right? God forbid something happens. They have to give themselves an out.
Fair enough. It's logical. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I'm just, and like I said, I'm not saying that The Rock is the one on the phone, but you could logically say, hey, there's a story there, and you could go to it. And I don't agree with your statement about Rock not putting butts in seats. We saw WrestleMania 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they sold out week after week after week with Rock leading the way. And we saw what happened when he left.
Well, hold on. Let's back up. Though.
Okay.
I think if we wanted to go back to that, I think there's so much more there than it just being The Rock. If that WrestleMania press conference does not go the way that it does, not press conference, the kickoff thing that they did.
I know you mean the thing in Vegas where they
if
slapped
does them. If that does not go off the way it does, and because it wasn't just The Rock in that, it was Rock, Roman, Seth, and Cody, and how real it felt, and how, oh wow, they all really just went off the reservation here, even though in hindsight we know they haven't. But what we perceived at the time is that they were. And then also, and we're gonna get to ticket sales, right? It was a lot more affordable to go to WrestleMania 40 overall, not just the tickets themselves in Lincoln Financial Field, but the getting to Philadelphia, lodging in Philadelphia, all the aspects of going to a WrestleMania in a state or a city that you don't live in, right? Whereas with last year and really this year, it's a mortgage payment just to get the seats. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. There's some things we want to talk about first, because I think all of this plays into your ticket sales and all of it plays into your attendance.
Yep.
I don't think right now Rock moves the needle enough, because even if The Rock showed up tomorrow, right, or tonight on NXT for all I care, I don't think financially there's still enough people that are going to say, I'm going to go see Rock at WrestleMania, right? Because they could have done that. They would have done it 2 years ago.
I do agree that if you were going to pull that Rock card, you should have did it well beyond 3 to 4 weeks before WrestleMania.
Correct.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in, where you've only got 3/4 of your building filled for both nights, and you're putting out 25% off ticket sales for WrestleMania and all the events WrestleMania weekend. You did a 33% off the week prior, and you're still struggling. But we'll get to that. But
we'll get to that, because apparently it matters a whole hell of a lot to a lot more people than I thought. And we'll really dive. Some of them are sitting right next to me. We'll get into it in a minute. But let's kind of shift gears, because we've already been on for about 28 minutes, and we did a great job.
Yeah.
But I want to really get into the women's division. And more so the fact of Stephanie and Liv, Jade and Rhea, AJ and Becky. You've got 3 huge matches on the WrestleMania card now. And I think, other than the announcement of AJ and Becky, which that storyline's kind of been just going, and with AJ having the title, her return to WrestleMania, that one's kind of cut and dry. I really want to go to the Jade Rhea thing for a minute, and I really want to focus on Michin and B-Fab actually turning heel on Friday night and aligning themselves with Jade, beating down on Rhea. I want to know, what are your thoughts on that? When you take, no disrespect to Michin or B-Fab, but when you take these secondary characters in your women's division, dare I say, D-list characters in your women's division, and you align them with the women's champion, does that move the needle at all in this story? Or does that just say, here are 2 people over the next 3 weeks that we're going to feed to Rhea so that she doesn't make Jade look like an idiot?
The latter.
Ah!
I could care less. And
Really?
I'll tell you why. You said it yourself. I don't remember the last time either one won a match. Michin, I think, beat Chelsea Green a couple times. That one, dumpster match. They've been losing to Jade for 6 months, as Jay's been champion. And now I'm expected to believe that they moved the needle at all. And I kind of saw the seeds planted with Rhea interacting with them, and then you saw the little Easter egg in the back where BFAB's talking to Jade, and then we find out the following week that both of them have aligned with Jade.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is more of a story about Jade, where they don't think that Jade can push this story through WrestleMania alone. And I don't think the promos have been bad. I think Jade gets a little too much flack for her promo work. I don't think her promo work's that bad. I mean, is it great? No, but I mean, at least she's able to put two words together. I mean, there's some people on the roster can't even put two words together. And they're at the top of the card.
But I'm sorry, with as little, and you know, they always talked about Jade that she was greener than goose shit for the longest time, right? AEW and WWE have both really protected Jade.
Yeah.
And you know, AEW gave her the lackeys, you know, the cronies that she had, and all she had to do was talk, right? And you bet you should be good at talking at this point. What my concern is, and where I think it's interesting, putting Michin and BFAB with Jade. One, I think it's going to do good things for both Michin and BFAB. I think that while I don't think it really moves the needle, it gets them exposure. And it's almost like, you know, I don't want to say a true thank you, but it's almost like a thank you to both of them, because they have put up and done a lot of dumb stuff, you know, for a while. You know, and Michin got the short end of the stick, I think, with the United States title and all that stuff with Chelsea Green. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Chelsea Green as United States champion and what they're doing with her and Julia and all the other jazz. But Michin got the short end of the stick there, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have them aligning with the women's champion, right, to just start taking out, you know, top names. I think that says something, especially if, you know, next week, even though it may not be a clean finish, if Michin pins Rhea or if BFAB pins Rhea, right, they can use that and they can run with that for a while.
I'll say this. Oh, hey, Brad.
What up, Brad?
Good to see you on the show. Don, my man. Good to see you.
Shut up, DiBardino. No, I'm kidding.
Didn't they tease M2 turning at some point last year? Yep, they sure did. I'll say this, and this has nothing to do with the talent of BFAB and Michin. I think the reason that I could care less is more of their booking and the believability that they move the needle. Like you said, like they've been the victims of Jade Cargill since she became champion, and it's due to the lack of the roster on SmackDown for quite a while. Like once Tiffy lost the title to Jade, the only people that Jade was feuding with were Michin and BFAB. So it's kind of like
it's that old NWO mentality,
right? I can't beat them, so I'm going to join them. Okay, cool. So I don't think it's a matter of Michin and BFAB's ability. I think it's more of just the way that they've been booked, and they've been booked basically like lackeys. Like, okay, I'm just going to take a pin here. It's kind of like the Alba Fires of the world, and it's like they're not bad wrestlers. They're not bad competitors, especially Michin. Michin can go, and it's a shame that she's not utilized properly. And it'd be more beneficial to Jade if those two were booked better, so that it was more believable that, hey, like my group is very strong, and you're going to have to deal with it, Rhea, going into WrestleMania. And I think you have a good point there as far as they're going to get on the card at WrestleMania one way or the other. They're probably going to accompany Jade to the ring at WrestleMania, which is great. They're on the show. That's great. And I'm happy for them that they're going to get some exposure. Yeah, definitely.
And I think they're going to get some matches. Play a role in there, because I don't think I think you either put the title on Rhea here and let her rebuild the women's division over on SmackDown, or you keep the title on Jade and you kind of go all in on Jade and Rhea together, rebuilding this thing and Rhea building her own little team of people, to kind of fight back. Because now that you took Lash and Nia and you put the titles on them and moved them off, right? You got Kiana, Julia, Chelsea. Who's that with her? Alba Fire.
We got
Right.
Tiff.
Tiffany, but Tiffany hasn't really been around. She hasn't been doing much.
Well, it looks like it's going to be her and Julie at WrestleMania from what they've been.
Oh,
pushing.
okay. I have not seen much of that.
Which I'll tell you what, you haven't missed much because this kind of just got thrown together. 1 week, Tiffy's competing for the U.S. title. Like it's like it was very thrown together. Those have been watching like would attest like it's just been thrown together like something for Tiffany to do. But I'm sure it'll be good. And maybe it gets Julia an opportunity to show what she's got. But
and I think that's important. I think when you look at the caliber of wrestler that Julia is and what they've really put her up against once they brought her to the main roster, no disrespect to anybody, but she really hasn't had that big fight feel. Now, if you're putting her against somebody like a Tiffany Stratton, former world champion, been on the WrestleMania card, all the things, I think we're working on trying to elevate Julia. I also think Kiana James comes out of this looking like a megastar.
They've been pushing her. I mean, Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber, she looked like $1 million. And I apologize. It's not WrestleMania. They're fighting on SmackDown this Friday. My apologies.
I was gonna say it's not. Tiffy
and Julia are on SmackDown.
I got the card here. It ain't on there.
Yeah.
When it comes to WrestleMania next month, I totally agree that 1, Rhea beats Jade, and 2, AJ beats Becky. Do you guys agree with me? When it comes to Rhea and Jade, give me another week before I answer that question. Because with this new development with BFAB and Meechin, and obviously they beat down on Rhea, I need to see what Rhea's response is before I go one way or the other there. Before that, I had Rhea winning. But now you've introduced other elements, and so you got to readjust and reassess. When it comes to AJ Becky, AJ's beaten the brakes off of Becky every chance she's gotten. One part of you says she's going to continue to do that at her first WrestleMania back in 10 years. The other side of that coin goes, what a way for Becky to get her comeuppance on AJ Lee to beat her for the title at Mania, and so you can go kind of two ways with that as well. I think the takeaway from AJ Becky is less the feud and more AJ's return to WrestleMania.
Yep. On that note, so Jade and Rhea, first off, it's going to be very telling how they feel about Jade on the result of that match. If they have Jade beat Rhea, it would be the biggest win of her career, and it could elevate Jade to that next level. But if we come out of this match and Rhea is on top, it shows that they probably feel less confident about Jade than they did 2 years ago. And I really think this is a defining moment for Jade, and hopefully she comes out looking well. I mean, they need more talent. They need more people at the top besides Rhea. I mean, we've talked about this a couple weeks ago. They've had opportunity to put someone else on top. I mean, there's been people that have been out. You have Bianca, who's been out, unfortunately.
But is Bianca ready to come back? And
no,
that's my point.
I know. I'm saying, like, they've had opportunity. Naomi's been out of action. Bianca's been out of action.
How is that having opportunity, though?
It's been opportunity for somebody else to step up, and this is Jade's opportunity to step up at WrestleMania.
Okay, I thought that you were saying somebody other than Jade stepping up, and then you list people that are out, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
I'm saying there's been opportunity for others to step up due to those being out.
Got it. Okay. Sorry. No, you're fine. I got lost. I found my way back again. But here's the thing, and it's such a hot. Might be such a hot take, for this. When it comes to Rhea Ripley, she is on top of the world of the women's division.
Oh, that's not a hot take at all.
No. Let me finish. Here, the hot take's coming. I
Okay.
promise. I don't think that if someone beats Rhea or if someone loses to Rhea, that it's really that career defining. If Jade were to beat Rhea, I don't think that's WWE saying we put our full faith and trust in you. Go get him, kid. And I don't think if Rhea beats Jade, they're saying, you still suck. We're gonna send you back to NXT. I think all it's saying is if she beats Jade, then Jade can hang. We're not fully sold on her, but Jade can hang, and it legitimizes her win, her title run. Because she has to do that. She has not beaten anybody worth a snot since she got the title. Whereas if Rhea beats Jade, and again, maybe this is because I watch a lot, I look at it as they have plans to rebuild the women's division on SmackDown. And they finally found a way to do that. And Rhea is the only one that can carry them through that. If they did it with Jade, it wouldn't sell right. And I don't think that's a shot at Jade.
No.
Right? But I don't think Rhea Ripley is an end-all, be-all, make or break your career win or loss.
I'll say this. The match has to be crisp. Meaning, if Jade's going to win this match, it's got to be done in a way that she looks good out of it. Because if she's out there and she's missing spots and it's not a crisp win, it's not going to be believable either way. And then it doesn't help Jade. I'll say this though, Rhea doesn't need to win this match at all.
No, not at all.
It would absolutely help Jade way more if she were to she doesn't have to go over, but she needs to look good.
I don't think it hurts Jade though if Rhea wins either.
Okay.
I don't think it hurts her because I think that to your point, if Jade looks good throughout the match and if Jade doesn't miss her spots, I think that ends up mattering more long term than if it's Jade beating Rhea and it's sloppy.
I agree.
All right, so this is your bread and butter here.
Well, we kind of already alluded to a lot of this, and it's no secret right now that WrestleMania was in the same venue as last year.
Hold on. Soapboxer.
So last year's WrestleMania and this year's WrestleMania we're both in Vegas, and ticket sales are completely less than last year. I'd say, looking at it today, they're only about 39,000 paid compared to last year where they had over 60,000. So the reasons for that are very debated right now. And I think Andy hit the nail on the head, whether he wanted to or not. It's a lot of different things. Vegas is not the most kid-friendly place in the world. Last year, they happened to have it on Easter weekend, and it was brand new. And the ticket prices were not as bad. This year, the ticket prices, I saw today down on the floor, $30-some thousand for WrestleMania tickets. That's like buying a car. It's like mortgage payment and stuff like that.
I am on Ticketmaster right now. Okay. And if I wanted 4 rows up from the floor on what I can only assume would be hard camera, it's the side opposite hard camera.
Mm-hmm.
$8,900.
Okay.
If I go for something up in the cheap seats.
Oh, look at row 1.
Row
Those
1 I
ones
can't
in
look at.
Those ones in the star, the yellow and the star.
I can't look at those. VIP packages. Apply filter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. So
yeah, it doesn't let me look at those. Hold on.
Vegas as a whole is not doing well as far as, events right now. And I think also it could be to do with it's funny. The main events are solid. I think they're better than they were last year. But there's just something missing right now, and it could be.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There's Bob, your uncle. All right, so you've got your ramp, okay, and it would be the side that would be on TV. I guess people come down. The row 2, seat 2, $16,000.
Yeah, pretty wild,
right? And but then if you go up to the cheap seats, and this is where it does kind of make me laugh, right? If I go up to the highest point, the most furthest back seat, 266, which isn't bad, right? If you think about last year at this time, because there was a group of us that were talking to going, as far as like my people here locally in Texas, we were talking about going. It was for both nights, and mind you, this is just for night 1. I have not looked at the combo tickets. Okay. But last year it was $1,200 to go to both nights, and that was for roughly the same section.
Yeah, it's just astronomical. There's another thing too. So, you know how they have those on location packages?
Yeah,
there is a package right now for a bus tour with Cody Rhodes.
I saw that.
Did you see the price?
It's like what, 10 grand or something like that
per person.
Now,
not total.
Now hold on. 10 grand per person. And I don't remember everything. But I think part of that included a seat to WrestleMania for both nights. Right?
I don't know.
Here,
did it?
I think it did.
I think I have it up. But I mean, like, per person?
Well, but let's value that out because there's part of it. Hold on. Tickets. WrestleMania.
Here we go. Ride along with Cody Rhodes as he drives a bus to 1 or 2 iconic Las Vegas landmarks, accompanied by a professional Las Vegas tour guide providing live commentary. The experience will take place on a day when Cody is not scheduled to wrestle, either Saturday or Sunday. So I guess it'll be Sunday. But I don't think it says anything about tickets.
First of all, it's sold out.
They sold it out?
It's sold. But my guess is it was probably only like...
It was 12. It was 12 people.
Yeah, right? And then there's also what do you want to talk about podcast experience with Liv Morgan that... So maybe it wasn't... But all right, so if you're saying... Because it doesn't look like for these packages, these are add-on experiences.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But hold on. All right, so 10 grand though. All right, let's think about this. Let's think about this logically. 10 grand for a bus tour with an intimate bus tour with Cody Rhodes.
Where are you going in Vegas? The Bellagio?
But you don't know, right? They could be taking you somewhere close, somewhere far away. They've got to make it worth the money, right? And then what's to say that there's not food, there's not... a small little Q&A because you're going to talk to him anyway during the
what do you want to talk about?
It's not like he's going to sit in his room and only come out when they stop at these locations, right? He's probably going to sit there and talk with everybody. I would have to imagine. I
would hope so, but like $10,000 for that, and then on top of that, a WrestleMania ticket, because I'm sure if you're doing that, then you're going to both nights of WrestleMania. You're doing the Hall of Fame. You're doing Tony Hinchcliffe. You're doing all a Hall of Fame, all that stuff.
Yeah. So if I look right now, all right, I'm on I am on location. All right, let's look at the most basic package that they have. It's 2-day premium seating. It's a ticket to the Friday kickoff party with a live Q&A with Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and other appearances. A 4-day pass at WWE World and the Superstore access. WWE World Superstore Priority Pass shopping bag.
Ooh, goody.
Dedicated Priority Pass entrance to Allegiant Stadium, WWE World, and Superstore. That's legitimately, that part right there alone might be worth some of the money. Because I don't know, like, what WrestleMania did you go to?
I went to 29 and 40.
Okay. I went to 32, 34, 35, and 25. I will tell you right now, for 32, it would have been nice to have some sort of priority entrance because it was a mess.
Oh, yeah, like that kind of stuff. But it's like, and for some people, maybe they can afford, maybe they've saved their money. But I'm sure like a lot of people, especially with the way things are right now, like with money and the economy, like putting it on a credit card and then pay, like it's wild that like people can actually, and more power to them, I guess. But it's just like, how many people are able to do that? And it's showing with like this attendance. I think part of it has to do with the cost of it, and then flying out there and lodging out there, and it's Vegas.
Well, the
So,
lodging is relatively cheap in Vegas, relatively, right, comparatively, because they know you're going to spend. I'm sure there's an inflation because of the event that weekend, right, and how, well, that whole week. But also, if you think about it, right, for some people, and you hit the nail on your head, and guys, I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. But for some people, WrestleMania is the only thing they do all year long.
it's a good point.
Right? For some people, it is worth every penny. And I've done the WrestleMania. So like WrestleMania 35 was the Brooklyn WrestleMania. We did WWE, we did WrestleMania Access twice. We went one day. We had so much fun that we went to the box office and bought for Monday. We did it Saturday. We did the Hall of Fame that year. We did both nights. We did NXT TakeOver. We did Raw. I think we did SmackDown too. Right? And when it was all said and done, now granted, it was almost 10 years ago. I think it was like a $3, $4, $5 grand weekend before I even got on a plane.
Yeah.
Right. So if if you take out, like, I travel a lot, you know this.
Yeah.
If I took all my Disney money that I spend all year long at Disney World, right, and if I just stockpiled that, you would see me probably on camera for WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there are those loyals that are still going year after year after year. But I think you're definitely missing the locals, because Vegas is it's a tourist city. So I think in some areas, like look at WrestleMania 40, it was in Philadelphia. How many people is probably half the stadium was probably Philadelphia, tri-state area, New York, local. They could take the train and travel there.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, Philadelphia, New York, what are they?
They're big metropolitan. They're big markets.
They're wrestling cities.
And they're wrestling cities, right? Vegas is
not.
To destination.
And that's where I think when you look at something like Vegas, it's a great place to hold WrestleMania because then they don't have to care about the locals, right? They don't need to make it affordable to the locals because the locals are not their target market, right? And honestly, if the locals want to go, they're going to go.
Right.
Right? but they're not the target market. The target market are the people that are flying in from 150 different countries around the world that do it every year to come see WWE.
Let me ask you this, and we'll put a bow on it.
Sure.
WrestleMania 42 was supposed to be in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Do you think there's buyer's remorse where they feel like they probably should have just stayed in New Orleans? Or do
No.
you think that they're okay?
No, I don't. I think that they saw something last year that they did not see at 34 in New Orleans, because 34 was the last time they went to New Orleans for WrestleMania. And I've been to New Orleans for WrestleMania. Bourbon Street is overrun with wrestling fans. The whole city is like any city, right?
Sure.
In
I've
infrastructurally
been there.
though, from an infrastructure standpoint, they don't have the space, I think, for what WWE is trying to turn WrestleMania into.
Okay.
I really think, because if you think about it, you've got, let's just start on Thursday. You've got WWE World. Friday, you've got SmackDown and Hall of Fame. Saturday, you've got WrestleMania Night 1 and Kill Tony. Sunday, you've got WrestleMania Night 2. Monday, you've got Raw. Every day is World, right? You've got
probably got Taker's Dead Man show.
You got Taker's Dead Man show. I'm sure there's the Cody Rhodes. What do you want to talk about? I'm sure
Media
Stephanie's going to do
outlets
something
everywhere.
there. Yeah, they're going to. I guarantee you, the Pat McAfee show will be there.
I'm sure.
Right? You think about all these different things, and there's so much going on that you need the space to do all of that. That's why I think they saw, hey, this was really easy, and we made a ton of money doing it. Let's just run it back. Right?
Yeah. No, so one more thing. So I think Vegas threw a ton of money at him, was like, hey, let's get out of this. And two, I wouldn't be surprised if the stadium's somewhat filled because of the casinos. We had a friend of our Chrome and I's who got an email about comps for WrestleMania from a casino. So it's possible that they could just fill it with comps and it will look full, which is what they want. They want the aesthetics.
They'll fill it regardless, right?
Joey, sorry.
I get to T. Bardino here in a second because it fits in with what I'm about to say. Actually, I'm going to address it now. Isn't WrestleMania in Riyadh next year, so American fans are going to be double pissed? No, they're not. Here's why. It doesn't matter where you put WrestleMania, people are going to go. And if that hasn't been evident in the fact that 150 countries have schlepped their way across that big blue ocean to come into this country to watch that event, if you don't think that Americans are going to go, ha ha, hold my beer and go to Riyadh, because if you think about it, Riyadh is promoting themselves as a tourist attraction. They are trying to change the narrative with Riyadh season and all that stuff. They're trying to promote some kind of tourism. I think that you have Americans going. I think that you have the stadium this year, the stadium next year, and every stadium from then on out will be filled. Why? Because at the end of the day, it is still WrestleMania. It is still our Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who plays in the Super Bowl. That building is always filled. It doesn't matter where WrestleMania is. The building will be full.
Unless it's Las Vegas.
I still think Vegas is full.
Because of those comps, probably. But
who cares?
I get it, but this time last year, they had sold about 50 to 55,000 seats. We're 3 weeks away, and there's still half the stadium that hasn't been sold.
But here's the other thing that's different from this year to last year. and we're not going to get on a political soapbox.
It's the economy.
It's 100% the economy. And so I still think they end up filling the seats, right? I don't think it's as profitable because they are going to have to comp things, which is a whole different conversation. But I still think at the end of the day, they fill that arena no matter what.
So, Joey, I don't know if you know this, the first hour of WrestleMania is going to be on ESPN, the regular ESPN. So I think what the game plan is they're going to put something really big in that first hour so that you will go to the app and watch it. So I think that's the
and you know
that's
what?
the goal.
Good on Disney.
Yeah.
Good on
Might
Disney.
Might as well take advantage of it.
Right? Because why not? Why not have a 4-hour show? Hey, we're going to take your opening hour and we're going to put it on cable TV. You understand me? I want everybody to sit with that for a minute. We're putting it on cable TV.
Not just cable TV, the cable station.
The sports station. Screw the
Yeah.
cable station. The sports station in this country. Right? Something that has never been done before. Bob Iger, Josh D'Amaro, as the two CEOs of Disney that probably spearheaded a lot of this decision, this is what they decided to do. And for the people that don't like the fact of the ESPN app and all that, shut up. Just shut up. Because we all had the WWE app and we all paid for that. We all used to buy the $50 pay-per-views years ago, right? We all had the WWE network. Shut up. It is the world of streaming. If you don't like it, go live off the grid. Quit bitching. Because at the end of the day, I know all of you that sit there and type out your long paragraphs about how it's evil and we shouldn't be spending this money and oh my God, you assholes are still paying for it.
Yep.
You're still watching it. Shut up. The internet wrestling community as a whole might be the most negative and toxic place on God's green earth when it comes to them wanting to spend money. Get out of your mother's basement, touch some grass, and get a job. Damn it.
And watch WrestleMania on the app.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Sorry, Joey. That wasn't.
Yeah,
you.
that's not that. That's
You just opened Pandora's box.
yeah, but I think you're right. I think it'll be it's gonna look full for sure, one way or the other.
Agreed. But with that being said, though, guys, hold on. Where is it? He said it's in here somewhere. Where's the picture? Is the picture in here? Did he not put the picture in here? This bastard.
You got a programming note. So
Hold on.
we're going to talk about
hold on.
one of the major players for this show in a minute. But join us this Saturday. Chrome and myself will be live on the Lazy Booking Podcast TV channel on YouTube, where we're going to watch WrestleMania 8. Yes, it is a fun show. As you can see there's a few matches. It was a double main event. Ric Flair versus Macho Man. Hulk Hogan versus Hall of Famer Sid Justice. The Undertaker versus Jake the Snake, and much more. Join us at noon this Saturday. That's not on A2D. It'll be on our Lazy Booking Podcast TV channel on YouTube. Don't miss it.
To be fair, that wasn't the one I was looking for. I just let him roll with it. This is the one I was looking for.
Bro. And while we're at it, April 7th, our very own Chrome and myself. Yeah, I said very own Chrome and myself. I did that real well.
You're doing great.
Vinny Rue is going to join us.
No. Do not call him Vinny Rue.
Vinny Rue is going to join us. Friend of the show. He was on in November. He had a lot to say about the John Cena retirement tour.
He was on in December.
And I'm sure he's going to have a ton to talk about with WrestleMania coming up. and we'll talk some JCW with him. But don't miss it, April 7th, right here on A2D. Chrome and myself with Vince Russo.
Where I was going with that was, if you want to talk more about ticket sales, check out the April 7th show with Vince Russo. But Skippy over here decided to jump the gun because I clicked on the wrong image.
You clicked on the wrong image. So how was I going to talk about ticket sales with WrestleMania 8?
Right. I clicked on the wrong image. I was about to click off of it. And you're like, I was literally about to switch images. And you're like, oh, WrestleMania 8. Ah, son of a bitch. Shut up.
Hey, I made it work. Yay.
But that is a great, all of that's a great segue into, it was announced earlier today on Triple H's social media that Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, guy who broke his leg in the ring in WCW, whatever you want to call him, he will be inducted into the legacy wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. And all right, so first things first. There was an interview on this program a few years, probably about 2019, I think Chrome said, with Psycho Sid. If you haven't seen it, it's in the archives. Go watch it. Chrome shared it on his social media earlier.
Mm-hmm.
My question, though, because you can't deny the career. You can't deny the fact that he is truly a Hall of Fame talent. So, but I ask you, Arch, how do you feel about him going into the legacy wing?
Yeah, I found that pretty interesting. Maybe because he passed away.
I thought you were about to stop talking, and I was like, God, give me more.
No.
Help me.
I mean, maybe it's because he passed away. I don't think it's any dig or anything with it. I think it's just it may be just a matter that he can't accept the award on his own. Maybe somebody isn't set to accept the award for him. Maybe it's just a matter of that. But I think just the fact that he had the video package today, and the fact that we've been waiting for quite a while for Sid to take his place in the Hall of Fame, I think it does justice, right? No pun intended. But I'll say this. I mean, just an amazing career. I mean, if you look back, like, he just embodied professional wrestling, a professional wrestler in the dictionary in the late 80s and 90s. He just looked the part, played the part well. He could cut a promo. He could do it all. And I think guys like him aren't around. He was one of a kind. And I think he's rightfully getting his spot. But I don't think it's a dig or anything. It may be just a matter of nobody's going to be there to accept it on his behalf. Maybe they will, and hopefully somebody does. But
I'm sure somebody will. I will say, if we start changing the narrative to where if we're inducting somebody after they've passed away, and we put them in the legacy wing, if they're the legacy induction, then if that's the new narrative you're creating, I'm okay with that. Right? That makes sense. I think it'll force you to induct some people a little slower, because a lot of people have started to die off. But I think that it's not the worst, because it brings a special highlight to them,
mm-hmm.
that they're going into a different version of the Hall of Fame. I think it's long overdue. I think they should have done it while he was still alive. But then again, at the same time, we don't know how they picked the Hall of Famers, so I don't know. Right? Because there are still some names that baffle my mind that they're not in the Hall of Fame. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the Hall of Fame is my favorite event of WrestleMania weekend. I think, and granted, last year was so long, so late. It's gonna do it again this year, but I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for Stephanie's. I'm very excited for AJ's. I'm very excited for Sid's. I could care less about Demolition. They were announced end of last week?
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever. I didn't grow up with them. They were well done before I started watching professional wrestling, so they just don't hold a spot for me.
Yeah, we talked about them last week, where it's kind of the team that the villain team that you saw in the WWF when I started watching. So it was I kind of caught it at the tail end where they were kind of in that 3 team with Crush. So
Okay.
yeah. So but they still hold. For me personally, I think it's well deserved and it's long overdue. But I get it, and I think this class this year is really strong, and I think they need to no more this year. Like that, I think hopefully they don't add anybody else, because I think there's a tendency sometimes to add more people where it's like too many people makes it less valuable and less honorable to go in.
And so all right, let's address a couple of things.
Mhm.
You only have 4 people going in.
That's fine.
You have Stephanie,
Mhm.
AJ,
Mhm.
Demolition, Sid, and Dennis Rodman.
Perfect.
So here's my only thing that I'll say here. Okay. You give AJ and Stephanie all the fucking time in the world.
Mhm.
Dennis Rodman
Agreed.
should get 5 minutes tops.
Yeah, he's. I doubt he's even gonna say a whole lot. I will say if they do add something else, remember last year they added the matches to the Hall of Fame, so it's a possibility that they may add a match.
Yeah,
well.
I don't know how I felt about that. I didn't vibe with that a whole lot.
I get it, but I mean, if they want to continue that trend, I could see them putting a match in. But
yeah, they
don't have to. But
yeah, because last year you had Triple H, Michelle McCool, Luger, Natural Disasters, Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff were in the Legacy, and then the Immortal Moment was Bret Hart, Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13. If you do an Immortal Moment, right, then I am okay with that. But again, you don't need to spend a lot of time there on that.
No, and they could easily do like Shawn Taker, and they're already there, so they could do that.
Yeah,
like it could be something like that. But
it is. I'm gonna get morbid here for a second. Dennis Rodman would get inducted into the Hall of Fame the year after Hogan dies.
Oof.
Yeah, sit on that one for a minute. That's why I think Bischoff will induct him.
I could see that.
I think Bischoff inducts him. I think Psycho Sid's family's there. I don't give a damn who inducts Demolition, but I want to ask you because Undertaker, we're pretty sure Undertaker's being the one inducting Stephanie.
Yes.
Okay. I still think Triple H should do it. I think that would be an awesome speech.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think that'd be killer. But who inducts AJ?
I think it may be. I mean, the guy that I would pick it's not going to happen, and that'd be Samoa Joe. But I mean, you could do like a Frankie Kazarian. You could do, I don't know, as far as the roster, the WWE roster is concerned, probably somebody from a TNA. Yeah,
I
like a Kazarian or a
Abyss.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Abyss would be good.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle would be really good.
Agreed.
They had a lot. If you could get Christopher Daniels, right? I would love it to be Christopher Daniels, right? Over Samoa Joe, right? If you were to get somebody from AEW, right? I would love it to be Christopher Daniels over Samoa Joe. Because they're those two intertwined for so long.
Yeah.
And then if I was thinking somebody else like strictly WWE related, Cena.
Yeah, that was the one on top of my head.
Cena.
I don't think
Balor.
Yeah.
Balor would be a good
Bullet
one. I would
Club
like
stuff.
Balor. Yeah. All right, here's a question. Yesterday on Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins was arrested. Is that true that he went to? Okay. Do you guys agree that Finn Balor might form a new faction? He's not forming a new faction, and I'm not addressing the first one.
So
I won't be nice about it.
Was arrested. It's true. He went to jail. And do you guys agree that Finn Balor? Yeah, he spent the night in the Slammer. That's what I heard. And then Finn Balor. Yeah, I think it's going away from the Judgment Day. I think this is the time, and Chrome has alluded to this a lot, where he's a big fan of what's next for Finn Balor as far as him being a babyface. So I think he's been in a faction way too long. He needs to be on his own.
Correct. I mean, I've been a Balor fan for years, right? I wanted to see him. When he won the title, I lost my mind. I wanted to see him really get away from the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
I'm glad that McDonough didn't go with him.
Yeah, I talked about this on the show a few times, where I knew this match was going to happen at some point, but I think them getting to this was kind of drawn out, and I think it could have been done a whole lot better with more stakes in the game. I just think it was kind of it kind of lost its luster a little bit, but that's just me.
They have time to build it up. I think the attack last night was good.
Yeah, I like that, where he cost him the title, and now it's like, all right,
yeah,
we're gonna have a feud. I hope they save the Demon for another time. I just don't think this match needs it, but I could be wrong.
I would love it, and here's why I would love it. Because then it means you're going back to old Balor.
Good point.
Right? And old Balor was goated. And I would love that. It'll truly solidify a babyface turn for me.
It's a good point.
Which is hysterical because the Demon was never supposed to be a babyface.
I know.
But I want to get off here because we are creeping up on the...
we got Flyers talk, right?
Yeah, we're creeping up on what? What time is it? 7:47 there?
Yeah, so stay tuned for Flyers talk on A2D. They will be on talking Flyers and their quest to possibly get into the playoffs.
And make sure you guys tell Brian Daly that the Ducks suck. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up, put a pretty little bow on it. I was going to pose a question, but then I figured we would talk forever. Guys, remember, this Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern on the Lazy Booking Podcast YouTube channel, WrestleMania 8 watch party with Eric Archer, Michael Chrome. They are going to be live. They're going to walk you guys through an incredible WrestleMania. It is gearing up for our live reaction. I'll say it now, live on the air. I am live reacting to WrestleMania.
Woo!
Both nights. Your boy is back.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
We'll be doing that over on Lazy Booking Podcast TV. And this year it will be the whole show. So, I'm sorry. We'll say it the right way. The whole fucking show.
I was going to say, you say it like that, you might as well go all out.
It wasn't until I did, I did the emphasis. I was like, wait a minute. I got to do like RVD. And then in 2 weeks' time, April 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here, live on HUD Radio. Arch and Chrome are going to be joined by the one and only Mr. Vince Russo. They're going to break everything down leading into WrestleMania. 2 weeks away from the show of shows. They're going to be breaking everything down. I may be popping in at the back half of that show because the night before, Raw is here in Houston. So I may be bumping in and dropping in on that show as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Few other things. Make sure you, whenever you get a chance, like and subscribe.
No, screw that. Screw that. We don't do this when you do it when you get a chance. We do it right fucking now.
Do it
you
now.
Like, you subscribe, you share, you tell your friends, you go to the highest point, the highest peak of the mountain, and you shout it to the world.
No, shut your mouth a second. A2D, like and subscribe. Put on that notification bell. Do not miss a show. Lazy Booking Podcast TV. Make sure you subscribe. We're near 100 followers. If you're not following this show, you're making a big mistake. You're making a big mistake. Don't miss Anecdotes with Arch. We pop them every once in a while.
When you said shut your mouth, my hand rolled over the remove you button. Because if Butters ever tried that shit when I'm mid promo, he'd be gone. He'd be in a timeout. And then I remembered, this ain't my show.
No, it's all good fun. All good fun.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
You bastard. Now, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Please don't forget, follow us on Instagram, A2D and Lazy Booking Podcast. There's all kinds of great stuff in here, and like us, subscribe, and follow our YouTube page. And
guys, make sure you tune. There is stuff every single night here on this platform on HUD Radio, whether it's Flyers Talk, whether it's Eagles Talk, whether it's HUD Wednesday night, whether it's whatever Pete and Chucks do about watching tape back and all that. You've got the final whistle. You got a whole bunch of good stuff every single night here on this platform. With
Phillies talk.
With baseball season kicking off in just 2 days. Opening day is the 26th, which is Wednesday.
It's tomorrow. Yeah,
is it tomorrow?
Yeah. So
Today's the 24th.
I don't know if you saw on it's on Netflix, and special guests Jimmy and Jey the Usos. I'm guessing they're going to be plugging WrestleMania. I don't know about you.
Just so we're all on the same page. Opening night is tomorrow. It's Yankees Giants.
Yes.
Opening day is Thursday, right? Which is what I
get all technical on me,
because
man?
I said opening day, you jackass.
You know what? Okay.
But anyway, shut up for a second. Okay. Tomorrow night's A2D Wednesday night is must-see TV. This is the season where those guys thrive, is baseball season. But for Eric Arch, for Michael Chromiak, who's a bum on a plane, I'm Ritz. We will catch you guys next week. Until then, tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, and joy. We're out.